On today's Into Your Head podcast number 675, meeting a muppet as an adult, the limitations of being interesting, building things from cigarettes, Margaret Thatcher versus zombies, and lots more.
Monkey nuts, that's what they call them. Monkey nuts, into your head. Monkey nuts, that's what they call them. Big steaming piles of monkey nuts into your head.
This is a prelude to today's episode of Into Your Head podcast. Hello. The original beginning of today's episode of Into Your Head podcast, hello, still exists. I just don't want it to be the beginning. I want it to be the middle, or at least a few minutes in. I don't want to start with what I started with. I want to start with something else, because I don't, they have to be careful what you choose as the beginning, because some new listener might come along here and hear what was going to be the beginning and think, Christ, this isn't for me. So no, you have to put in something palatable as the beginning. And I don't think a segment where I discuss Margaret Thatcher coming back as a zombie is palatable to new listeners who may not have got to grips with my unique take on the news and current affairs of this world yet. So no, you have to wean them in gently. You say, so we'll start. What will we start with? Will we start? Oh, here we'll start with a good old-fashioned two cats walk into a bar story. Two cats walk into a bar. One of the cats goes straight up to the bar counter and says, hello, can I have a pack of cigarettes, please? And the man behind the bar says, you cannot. You're a little cat with tiny little lungs. My conscience couldn't take giving you a pack of cigarettes. And the cat says, relax, take a chill pill. Although, do you allow yourself to take chill pills? I don't know. Well, no, take a chill pill, or go and chill yourself in one of the cooler cabinets behind you there. I'm not going to smoke. I'm just collecting some cigarettes because I want to have a little project I want to do with them. I want to make one of those little cigarette castles. I want to build a castle out of cigarettes. And the barman says, well, good for you. So, but that seems a little expensive. I think maybe you're thinking of matches. Have you confused matches with cigarettes? Because people make stuff out of matches. They make stuff out of matches and playing cards, but they don't normally build model castles and things out of cigarettes, because cigarettes are about 300 quid a pack now. And the cat says, oh, did you say quid? How quaint. Quid is what they used to call pounds back before the arrival of the euro currency. And the man behind the bar says, yeah, well, I'm an old man and I'm used to saying quid, so I say quid. When I say quid, I mean euro, although I'm sure if you were to translate that into the poundal equivalent, it would still be a loss. It's still, my statement would still be accurate, appropriate, not accurate to the nearest 0.01 decimal, but there's more to life than being accurate to the nearest 0.01 decimal. This isn't space exploration we're doing here, it's bar salesmanship, and it's all about the atmosphere, not getting things exactly right to the nearest cent. And the cat says, I suppose that's true. Anyway, how are we coming along with those cigarettes? And the barman says, oh, sorry, I meant to get them out for you. I was too busy talking because I'm a socialite. That's why I'm a success in the bar business. I don't just come up and say, hello, what you want, and just give it to you and grunt and go off to the next customer. I make conversation. I'm a conversationist, just like all the greats. The great philosophers were all conversationists, even if half the time they were just conversating with themselves. You'd leave them alone in a prison cell and they'd have a great long conversation with themselves, debating the meaning of life, the evolution of the species, or otherwise, or whatever hell was undermined at the time. Anyway, can I help you there, young cat? And the cat says, box of cigarettes, please, you cunt. A man says, certainly, young cat. Now, I hope you're not going to smoke these, are you? Because they would do fierce damage to your very small lungs. And the cat says, did you just say fierce? What are you, a fucking leprechaun or something? That's what the Americans expect when they sign up for an Irish podcast. They want to hear the word fierce and begorra. And is that what you're going to say next, begorra? And the man behind the bar says, I most certainly am not. And don't let me ever hear you utter that phrase again. I will not have that phrase in my genuine Irish bar. Unlike foreign Irish bars, which are not genuine, this is a genuine Irish bar where we just sit around swearing and listening to rave music. There's no diddly music here, I can tell you. Do you see any diddly music here? No, there's no diddly music. And the cat says, what the fuck is diddly music? And the man says, you don't know what diddly music is. What the fuck is wrong with you? Diddly music is where a load of owl fellas get out their fiddles, aka violins to foreigners, and they get out a barron, and they get out whatever else to do when they play. They basically play a screeching, fast-moving ballad tune. And it goes diddly. Well, I'm just saying we don't have any of that in here, although the bar next door probably has it, because they still have a lot of places here down the country. And the cat says, that's all very well, but how are we getting on with my box of cigarettes there? And the man says, what box of cigarettes? You don't have a box of cigarettes. Well, you don't even have pockets. The cat says, I know, but I ordered a box of cigarettes off you twice already, and I realise you're a socialite and you like to converse, but there's a big queue of people forming behind me now, or beside me, I suppose. People don't queue up in a straight line perpendicular to a bar unless their service is so slow that they're not even drunk yet, in which case maybe they will, because they're still stuck up tight weirdos. Anyway, a box of cigarettes, please. And the man behind the bar says, certainly, sir, here's a box of cigarettes. Would you like to purchase them? And the cat says, yes, I would. And the barman says, okay, well, if you hand me over some money, it can be either €6.75 or anywhere between €6.76 and €50. Although I suppose if you gave me €100 note, I'd have to accept that too, it being legal tender. But I'd rather you didn't, if you get my gist. And the cat says, that's fine, here's a 20. And the man behind the bar says, thank you very much, here's your cigarettes, and I'll get you your change now. What will I change you into? Ho, that's a little joke. Not only am I a socialite, I'm a comedian. And the cat scrapes his eyes out. And a great night is had by all. We've a lot to get on with today. Items that need to be attended to, issues that need to be addressed, topics. We've got lots and lots of topics, although not as many to get through as usual, because I just recorded for 10 minutes and made it into an extra program for the Into Your Head Extras and Reruns feed. See intoyourhead.com/extras. But no, I'm sure we'll still have stuff to cover here. There's always things to cover in the world. Yesterday, former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher died, but we're not going to cover that here because I've already covered that in my cat comic Matchstick Cat, which you can also see at intoyourhead.com. There's no point in covering the same thing in multiple ways. That's just overkill. You can kill someone or you can overkill them, and if you overkill them, then they're just going to be so dead that they come back to life. They become zombies. You don't want Margaret Thatcher coming back as a zombie. Or maybe you do. I don't know. At least if you're a zombie, you can't do stuff like, I don't know, put the coal miners out of work and all the controversial stuff she did. You'd be happy then if she came back as a zombie with the same brain, but not using it to do politically evil stuff or just killing people instead. Would that please you, all you people who are having a go at some old bitch who died and you're all having a go at her? There's people out celebrating in the streets in England happening today. It's on the news. I'm not making it up. There's people out celebrating some old woman dying. You pack of fucking weirdos. You're a pack of weirdos. Although I don't mean to be judgmental, but yeah, you're a pack of weirdos. Is it a pack or is it something else? What's the word for a group of weirdos? It's not a species, so it probably doesn't have its own word. It's not like when you say a school of fish or a pack of lions or an ostrich of ostriches or I don't know. Maybe we should all just stick our heads in the sand and not take any notice of this embarrassing saga in our world history until it's over, because frankly I find it cringeworthy. People grown men going around waving their hands in the streets and doing, there's a newspaper put up a picture of a grave with Margaret Thatcher's name on it, and some critical headline. Not that there's anything wrong with being critical. There are places where you're not allowed to criticise people and you get locked up in jail if you do. Those places, I can tell you, they're absolutely fantastic. I have nothing bad to say about them, but this is getting a bit too political. I've no interest in politics. Politics is the pastime of cranks and crackpots and weirdos, packs of weirdos. What's the word for a pack of packs? I wonder. A number of packs. A group of packs, I suppose an alliance, a congress of packs. I don't know, because when you have a group of trade unions, they call them a congress. They say, here's a congress of trade unions. So maybe there's something for a group of packs of weirdos. Or do packs of weirdos group ally with other packs of weirdos? They probably don't. If they did, they wouldn't be weirdos. They'd be the majority or something. I don't know. Anyway, monkey nuts. That's what they call them. They call them big, steaming, shit-eating, piss-piling, ventriloquist killing. Why did they say that? I don't know. I think I've got ventriloquists on my mind at the moment because I'm looking over at my window and there's a glove puppet on it. A cat glove puppet that's recently come out of the washing machine. Worse for wear, but at least no longer smelling of cheap cider, which I think is a plus. The problem with these ventriloquists, I don't know if it happens over there where you are, but over here where I am, or at least in the country next door where there's a lot more of them, when the ventriloquist dies, the ventriloquist's character, doll, toy, doesn't die, the son of the dead person takes it over. You have it with Suhi, you have it with, what's his name, the emu, your man's son is doing emu now. He's putting his hand up the same place where his father's hand was for many decades, even before he was born, doing, oh look, this is emu. Kids, this is still emu. It's a younger and more vibrant emu, because it's got a younger hand up its arse. Now, that's a cheap shot. Going on about ventriloquists having their hands up arses. That's as old as, they were probably saying that when Jim Henson first came out. I don't mean he came out in that way. I mean when he first came out onto the scene, onto the entertainment scene, people probably said, oh, look at that fella. He spends his whole life sticking things up animals' arses. They're not even real animals, which that's a good thing. If it's not a real animal that he's doing it to, that's a good thing. Which would you prefer, him putting his hand up a real animal's arse or putting his hand up a fake animal's arse? At least he used to make up species. He had the decency not to say, oh, here's a bear, I'm going to put my hand up the bear. Although now that you mention it, there was Fuzzy Bear, wasn't there? But no, he made up a new species called the Muppets, and he put his hand up their arses, so nobody could say, oh, that fella's are promoting the anal fisting of the Muppet species. They couldn't say that because there's no real species called Muppets. So at least we can give him credit for that. Give a man credit where it's due. Give him a bit of credit. By the way, if you want to give me credit, just visit hintoyourhead.com and click on the tip jar to make a once-off donation to support the podcastual arts. Apart from that, no. Anyway, on with the show.
IntoYourHead.com.
Support the podcastual arts at no cost to you. Just click through the Amazon link at intoyourhead.com whenever you go shopping for anything, even if you use Amazon UK or Canada. We'll take your weird foreign money here. We're not proud. Just visit intoyourhead.com and click on the appropriate Amazon banner.
If you would like to comment on any of the issues raised in this program, email studio@intoyourhead.com. Remember, we value the opinions of you, the humble and ignorant listener.
Matchstick cats. Matchstick cats. Matchstick cats. Matchstick cats and stuff.
Are you a cat? Or do you know somebody who might be? Then tell yourself about Matchstick Cats, Neil's webcomic. Brand new episodes at intoyourhead.com.
Matchstick cats and stuff. IntoYourHead.com.
Two Muppets walk into a bar. One of the Muppets goes straight up to the bar counter and says, "Hello, you probably know me from such magical childhood programs as The Muppet Show and Muppets Tonight from the 90s and Fraggle Rock in between." And the barman says, "I do not. There was no Muppet who was on both The Muppet Show and Fraggle Rock." And the Muppet says, I know that, but I worked on both of them. Me, the puppeteer underneath the visage that you're looking at right now." And the man behind the bar says, "Well, why don't you show me the visage that's behind you right now?" And the Muppet says, "Who are you talking to, me or the ventriloquists? Because you're looking at me and saying your visage, but it sounds like you're talking to the ventriloquist." And the man behind the bar says, "Take off that fucking thing and show yourself to the world. Jesus Christ. If you want to hide yourself from the world, don't come into a public burial or entertainment premises that's open to the public all day and night. Well, until 3 o'clock in the morning maybe, and legally only until 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're not open during the day." Well, that's hardly the point. And Muppet says, "I'm not taking off this mask, although the ventriloquist who's behind this mask might take the mask off if you ask him politely, but there's no point talking to me because I'm just a fictional character. I can't take off the mask. I can't take off this visage because this visage is all I am. If you take away my visage, then I'm nothing. So it's not really visage at all. It's me, the me of the, basically me, my presence. It's like on those episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation where they go into the holodeck and one of the holograms thinks he's real and he says, 'Oh, don't switch me off, you're taking away my visage.' It's exactly like that, except with 1970s and 1950s puppets." And the man behind the bar says, "That's enough for that crap." And Muppet says, I agree. A pint of Guinness, please." And the man behind the bar says, "There's children in here. You don't want to be seen pumping beer down your gullet in front of children, surely." And the Muppet says, "If your man off Sesame Street who does what's his face, Elmo, can do what he does, then I can have a frigging pint of a Friday evening in a pub." And the barman says, "For one thing, it's Tuesday, and furthermore," and the Muppet interrupts him and says, "I didn't say I worked on Sesame Street. I don't work on the educational stuff. I don't know the days of the week as well as the likes of Kermit the Frog, or the Kermit the Frog rather, who used to be on the Muppet Show, not to be confused with Kermit the Frog. Used to be on the Muppet Show. I'm beginning to think they're the same people, but no, Kermit isn't. Younger listeners to this won't realise that Kermit the Frog used to be on Sesame Street until around 1990, and he was called Kermit the Frog when he was on that. Then they decided, no, we can't. We're going to sell all the rights to these Muppets to Disney and only keep the Sesame Street ones, and Kermit's not in the deal, so we can't have him anymore. But let's not get bogged down in that. Let's carry on with our Muppet walks into a bar story. Where was I? Somebody was saying something, I don't know. Anyway, the barman says, "A pint of Guinness, so is it?" And the Muppet says, "I don't know till you show it to me. I don't know what it is till you show it to me, but hopefully it will be a pint of Guinness because that's what I ordered." And the man behind the bar says, fair enough. You can't say fairer than that. And the Muppet says, "Yes, yes, I can. I just don't have any reason to. If it's in the script, I'll say it. If it's not, I won't. And the barman says, shut your stupid ugly face. And the Muppet says, am I really that ugly? I thought it was soft and cute and lovable. And the barman says, you can be both, you know. And the Muppet says, yeah, but am I? And the barman says, no comment. And the Muppet says, that's a comment. That's a comment. If ever I heard one, no comment is a comment. And the barman says, stop trying to trick me and entrap me here. This is entrapment. I'm just trying to serve you up a pint of Guinness here. Here it is. And the Muppet says, I can't be ready already that fast. You're supposed to fill it up about 3/4 of the way up and then let her rest for a couple of minutes and then top it off with a head. You can't have done that in this short space of time. And the man behind the bar says, this is a pint from a tin. Have you a problem with that? And the Muppet says, frankly, yes, I do. And the man behind the bar says, well, he should have said that in advance. And the Muppet Show says, I'm not psychic. I can't predict that you're going to make an arse of my order. And the barman says, well, maybe you've no business being a Muppet then, because Muppets are supposed to be magical creatures. And Muppet says, no, they're not. They're supposed to be a group of misfits occupying an old run-down theatre trying to run a show and making a mess of it. Have you ever even seen the Muppet Show? And the barman says, yes, I have, but I was 4, so my memory of it is of being a load of magical creatures. And the Muppet says, well, it just goes to show, doesn't it? You shouldn't revisit your childhood favourites when you're an adult. And the man behind the bar says, I begin to realise that now, and a great night is had by all. I present to you a piece of vintage writing from the old days here at intoyourhead.com when it wasn't Into Your Head, there was something else. This is an editorial I wrote some time ago called Some Asshole is Trying to Invent a New Kind of Tsunami Right Now. It's always been a good idea to live by a motto, and what better phrase to live by but quid ilias manholia actuality, which of course means an electric eel can easily be adapted for foreign travel with the help of a lightweight converter plug. But of course, life is never as simple as that, is it? For a start, you cannot put electric sea creatures into water. You get electrocuted and at best cause the warranty to become void. There was a time back in the early 80s when the only thing we had to worry about was finding some way to harvest the sweat water running off our backs so that we wouldn't be accused of wastage when it flowed into the ground while we were working. In the end, somebody developed drain pipe trousers, and that was another of life's problems over with, done and dusted, all sorted out by technology. On the other hand, nobody has managed to find a cure for the summertime blues. Over 30 years after the sadly deceased Eddie Cochran raised the issue and brought it to the attention of the pop record buying public. Perhaps he should have chosen his audience more wisely. Scientists and inventors rarely have time to listen to pop music from the 1950s, with the obvious exception of Trevor Bailiff, inventor of the clockwork radio. I believe at the moment he's working on the clock that's powered by radio waves. This is very worrying. We've had enough problems recently with sea waves that tragically ended the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. The last thing we need is this arsehole harvesting audio waves and making them bigger. We here at Into Your Head urge you to boycott the radio wave powered clock the minute it comes out. Remember the solar eclipse of the 1980s when the whole moon was blocked by the sun for 10 minutes? Mercifully, the moon managed to move out of its shadow, but next time we might not be so lucky. It is obviously no coincidence that this happened just as solar powered calculators are becoming fashionable. Let's put a stop to this crap right now before it gets out of hand. And that's the end of this editorial, which I must now disassociate myself from because I wrote this many years ago. This is by the me of the past and I can't condone it anymore. I'll just type in that I've used it on the podcast in April 2013 as a note to myself in here in this document. But no, I can't condone anything that's in that editorial now, although I stand by the right of the me of the past to say all that stuff that's in it. He's entitled to his opinion. I just don't agree with it. Maybe that means I've changed. It's perfectly possible. That was 6-7 years ago. I've certainly changed. I didn't even have a podcast then, so I've changed in that way. Didn't have any cats either. Didn't have anything. I was living up in Dublin in a bed sitting room apartment in the middle of Dublin. No, didn't have anything. So it's not surprising that I should spout utter crap like that. So I put it in here merely as a historical record and or filler.
Follow Neil at twitter.com/intoyourheadpod and pretend to like him at facebook.com/intoyourheadpodcast.
Into your head, better than spending the day sleeping. No, that's not very good. Let's try that again. Into your head, better to feed someone than to be fed. Does that make any sense? I don't know. There's more to come, though.
Two me's of the past walk into a bar. One of the me's of the past goes straight up to the bar counter and says, "Hello, can I have a pint of your finest Smiddock Shandy, please?" And the man behind the bar says, "Smiddock Shandy, are you sure?" And the me of the past says, "Oh yes, I'm absolutely sure. This is the most delicious beverage known to mankind." And the man says, "Well, I'll ask you that again in a few years and see if you agree then." And the me of the past says, "Oh, absolutely. Feel free to ask me again then. I'll still be drinking Smiddock Shandy. Smiddock Shandy I was born and raised on, and Smiddock Shandy I'll be still drinking when I'm 37 after they've invented podcasting and I'm recounting this story on the podcast." And the man behind the bar just gives a knowing little chuckle. And the me of the past says, "Do you know something that I don't know?" And the man behind the bar says, "Oh, most definitely." And the me of the past says, "Well, keep that to yourself, especially if you're a time traveller or something, because we've all seen Back to the Future, and you know you shouldn't be interfering with the timeline in any way, because you could destroy all of us. If you say something now that you shouldn't say, that could cause a big, huge recession or something. The Celtic Tiger will come to a sudden end in a couple of years, and we'll be all buying houses down the middle of nowhere, and we'll be drinking Tesco energy drinks out of plastic 1 litre bottles. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I don't know what we'll be doing." And the barman says, "You don't worry your little head about what we'll be doing. It'll all work out fine." And the me of the bar says, "Oh, that's fine. Thank you very much. Incidentally, what am I doing here? It's most unlike me to walk into a bar on my own and strike up a conversation with the barman and drink on my own. I don't do that." And the man behind the bar says, "You certainly do not. This is very unrealistic, if you don't mind me saying to the you of the future." And the me of the past says, "You say whatever you want to the me of the future. Just don't tell me about it, because I don't want to know. I'm going to get some earplugs from Earplugs. For the world's greatest earplugs at intoyourhead.com/earplugs. I don't know why that URL came into my mind, but intoyourhead.com/earplugs. I'll just get the me of the future to check whether that's still working. Hold on, intoyourhead.com/earplugs. Let's have a look now. Please click here if not automatically forward. Oh, here we go. I found a way to profit from wax. Intoyourhead.com/earplugs. Go there. You'll be pleasantly surprised with what you find. Anyway, so I've kind of destroyed that story now, I suppose, haven't I? I've destroyed it in the interest of commerciality. It's just, that's the same with everything. Commerciality destroys everything. Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star in your mind and in your car. We can't rewind, we've gone too far. Oh. Oh. Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star. Though not literally. I didn't get out a gun and shoot him when there was a radio star, wasn't there, in the 1980s, a talk radio late night fella in America who got shot dead by one of his listeners. They made that movie out of it, talk radio or something. But that was a more literal interpretation of killing the radio star. I don't think he was killed by a video though, although ironically there is now a video available of that movie about him. So that's the thing about it. He didn't. Ironically, his death spawned the birth of a video. A video didn't kill him at all. He created a video by being killed by a person rather than a video. But try telling that to your man, Bubbles or whatever his name was. Video killed the radio star, that fella. Try telling that to him. I can tell you he'll say, oh, you're probably right. That was just a fun little song, not to be taken too seriously. It was just a bit of a tune for entertainment on the radio. I think you'd have to agree that it has such. It serves its purpose well and good. Anyway, good morning.
Sit, Pippi, sit. Good cat.